So, Ponyboy was telling me I need to make a video about punk. Specifically because I had sent him earlier a video of me singing one of my favorite punk songs, and yeah, it was bad. I realized that. I I thought I could sing better. I sent it to him as a laugh, and he said, "You need to make a punk video now." I said, "Well, if we're doing it, I need to do more than just sing. So I'm gonna do it. We're gonna go over a lot of stuff, um, because I like punk. I have no problem with punk. I have no problem with singing punk, even if I can't sing it exactly well. Um, but I was thinking, why? Because it didn't really seem like such a big deal to me. But then, I took a listen to the radio quickly, and all of a sudden I realized that rather than good music, they're playing stuff like this. Pretty hideous, right? I mean, who wants to listen to that? So, yeah, I got what he meant, and I thought, sure, I can, make a video about punk. Uh, so let's do it. Let's make that video about punk!
Just on the border of your waking mind, there lies another time where darkness lies.
So, the first thing we're gonna have to talk about, it's gonna be a little bit awkward. Uh, the actual meaning of the word, where it originated from. It's a bit strange. I don't know how this happened myself. And I don't know how we still use the word, knowing where it comes from. But it stuck, which is okay. The word itself originally originates from prisons. The punk was the one who was more or less the sodomized victim of the more strong and perverted inmates. So I'm not entirely sure why it was used thereafter, because it seems like something that you really don't want to call yourself unless you're openly homo. But, I mean, apart from the free love generation, which punk kind of has origins in, it's not really, at least from those that I know, a queer organization. It's not a bunch of gay dudes who go to the punk rallies. But if we're talking about this, we might as well just go into punk history, because there's a little bit to say about that too. Get ready for a boring section. So, when it comes to the origins of punk, it's usually considered to have come from England, and I mean, there's good reason for that. I'm not saying it's not, but let me get some coffee. Ah. But the punk scene is kind of a evolution of what was already happening. And I'm saying that in a very general sense. Let's talk about anti music, counterculture. If you're talking about counterculture, say in the 30s, or before that, I suppose if we're talking about in the 20s, that's probably going to be ragtime. That's it, ragtime. Took me a second. And then in the 30s, you get more big band and things like that, swing. And then in the 40s, you get things like the jitterbugs. All these kind of building on each other as the thing that I wouldn't say per se generational, but the next group of young people get into, and the oldies don't like it. Then you get into the 50s, you get rock and roll. In the 60s, you get actually a good plethora of things, including the proto punk and harder rock. And it's through this time that you get the difference between, say, what's rock and roll and what is, say, proper rock. Um, Everyone's trying to get louder, everyone's trying to get harder. And by the time you get to the, say, 70s, you've got a definite style emerging of different groups. You have the heavy metal starting, and you have the punk, especially in its early stages, and already coined. Even then, you have quite a bit of ways that punk grew out of itself. You have the post punk, which hit or miss, and oddly, new wave kind of coming out of punk, although I don't admit it. I do not admit that. Anyway, and different styles. So I'm not gonna go seriously into depth of all this because, hey, you're not here for a boring history lesson. And if you want the history of that, you could go to better sources. I'm just here to give a my opinion on the matter. Um, so, the end. Oh, it's not stopping. This is one of those games I used to play quite a while ago. Uh, it's a lot of fun. I thought I'd do it again since we're talking about this subject. Currently, I'm making my band. I called them Tally Ho. Uh, you can make 1,000 bands. What's nifty about it is, well, okay, there's a lot of nifty things about Punkomatic too, but one of the nice things is customization. I mean, beyond actually being a fairly well designed music maker, I mean, just listen to this. This is the stock right here. I didn't do this, but they have, if just take for instance this, stuff like that. And the guitars actually get areas of the board that the neck that you can work with. So it's pretty well made. From 14th fret here down to the 8th fret. And we'll do so as you can see, it's pretty good. You know, I had no idea what it was gonna sound like. But I'd listen to that punk song. Punk Power. It's pretty fun. I did this guy first. He's angry. And I thought there was a way you can... Oh, there is. There it is. Change the color. Anchorman need red guitar. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, great. What am I? Nice. I look like who gives a crap? Whatever is wrong, we can fix it.
You can't. This, base color? It looks horrid. I'm gonna change that. I like the style, but, America! Ooh, that pink one's nice.
That's looking way cool.
Let's see. 3/4 pants. I never understood them. They just seem weird. Who wants to wear these things? No one wears these things. To begin with, cargo's a bit of a strange thing to wear if you don't have the things to put in the pockets. I mean, what's he gonna put in the pockets? Extra picks? Bass strings? You're just better off with pants. Make them short.
That's
Denim.
looking way cool.
Oh, shut up. Oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks retarded. We're gonna go with that.
That's looking way cool.
Oh, they got ducks. Doesn't exactly look like ducks, but it's supposed to be ducks. I don't know what chucks are. I was more of the, still am, more of the stomp your face with a combat boot type of person. Emo is for emos, and emo sucks. Let's have him be a blonde. I like blondes. Man, you got stupid shoes. We're gonna have to change that. I mean, that's fun. The SG's fun. The Flying V's fun. Oh, that's just generic. Oh, an X is fun. Okay, they look good. What can you do with the base? So... Oh, that's awful. That's also awful. That's better. That's better. I have respect for the punk bass players that can do stuff like that. It's pretty easy to do with guitar. The strings aren't nearly as heavy. Doing that on a bass is pretty hard. Hi-hat. How hard is it to find? That's not bad. That's not bad. If I don't get the hi-hat, I'll... No, that's stupid. There we go, there we go, there we go. Okay. Well, I will get back to you once I actually get this working. Maybe I'll have a bit of a song. Right, I'm your temp teacher for the day. Shut up and sit down and pay attention. We're going to be talking about how to spot a punk. And if you get an F, you don't want to see me. Believe me. Okay, let's talk about this. First thing first, we're going to talk about the fashion. The clothing of a punk. Because if we're trying to spot them in the wild, first thing you're going to notice is the difference in the clothing they wear. So, let's get to that. I just grabbed this game because there's a million of these things online. And this is a good one for representing exactly what I'm going to talk about here. First thing first, this is a fashion statement. This is not what I would consider the actual clothing that you'd expect to see a punk wear. I mean, especially something like that, right? What is this? That looks like a goth. And goth and punk are not the same thing. Leather is very punk. And I know that sounds, let's say, overly simplifying. Leather is used for a whole lot of iconic, rebellious kind of fashions. Everything from the super fetishy people to, say, hard rock. Punk just falls in that as well. And they both kind of have similar roots. Not the fetishes. Those are a league of their own. A lot of this comes out of, say, what was standard issue for the army. Surplus and whatnot. You know, actually, I think I can make my outfit in here. Hold up. Ooh, that's my boots. There you go. Eye color blue as close as they can get, I guess. That's not bad. Not exactly my look, but hey, it's better than nothing. I want to talk about some of these stereotypical stuff. Like the Union Jack here. I never did understand why that's considered punk. Okay, you can say it came from England. I don't care. Say that. Why does that mean that wearing an English jack automatically makes you a punk? That's bizarre. It's like saying, people that are interested in, say, hip-hop would be wearing, American flags. You know, just because the music came out of that area doesn't mean that you wear that proudly. I mean, take, for instance, The Clash. There's no way they liked England at the time they were making their music. I mean, things have definitely changed, and they probably are super patriotic now because everyone's going the way of the commie. Just wearing national symbols seems bizarre. I mean, I will give a pass to the Nazis because that's specifically a wearing them now is just to get people angry at you. So that is something I'd expect to see, but this, no, definitely not. So that's right out. The stripes and things, well, it's stereotypical. I'll say it makes sense. It comes out of the, ska. Ska punk's pretty fun. I actually have a friend who coined it, I think, the best. Ska punk is what plays in the head of a kid who has, what was it, mac and cheese for the first time. Sounds about right. Tartans. I don't get tartans. Why is the Celtic patterns considered punk? Technically, it's because there is a specific subculture of punk music that's specifically Celtic punk. But why that became a fashion statement outside of them, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't really think it's punk. They got the shoes right. When it comes down to it, the most punk shoes you can get your hands on are either going to be some Doc Martens or equivalent stompers. Get yourself some good combat boots. Or say the good flat skate shoes, because skate punk definitely became a thing of, say, the mainstream punk in later years. This is a stupid game. When it comes down to, say, the stereotypical punk attitude, you think of someone that's always angry and usually left-leaning. Oh, wait, we need to talk about hairstyles. I forgot about the hairstyles. Back in when punk was starting, in 70s and 80s, it's pretty easy to spot one, because the hairstyle gave it away. The Liberty spikes, the mohawks, the crazy hair like that, and they, especially, say, the colored hair. It was easy to tell who was a punk. The problem is, now, everybody kind of has adopted the colored hair, and to some degree, the mohawks and things. So having crazy hair doesn't mean you're a punk anymore. It means you're part of the Zoomers. It doesn't really much. Zoomers are millennials. I don't know. Generational stuff doesn't make sense to me. You're part of the human race. I don't know. Next thing, the attitudes. Teen angst only goes so far. And those who grew up in the punk era have long since been adults. And they're not going to carry that same kind of teen angst with them. So, being angry at everything all the time, that's not exactly a punk thing anymore. Now, being angry at everything is more of the SJW. But, hey, leftist activists, what can I say? You can't reason with them. I'm gonna keep referring back to this, but, anti-authority. That's what it comes down to. Counterculture to some description, although I think drug use might be something that they grow out of as well. But anti-authority. And let's put it this way, hotheads. Whereas if you were to find someone who was, say, screeching at you, would they actually fight you? Probably not, honestly. I don't expect that they have the muscles or the willpower to do it. But most that I know that are into the punk music, oh yeah, they'll fight you on a dime. I mean, it's a sport, right? When it comes down to it, the mosh pit started because of the punks, so it's kind of the violence is part of the culture. Now, finally, music. This one's a little bit hard to go by because if we're trying to spot a punk, it's not as though they're going to be broadcasting music at all times. I mean, if we're going to try to do it by music, best you can do is, say, put on something that most punks would hate specifically, and see who gets angry. So, something like Joy Division, The Cure, something like that. Something that really gets on the nerve, right? And see who leaves. And those who don't leave, they aren't punks, they're goths. Or some other stupid thing. Okay. That's all for class. Get ready for your pop quiz at the end of the video. So, let's talk about, things beyond, the scene. Let's talk about, movies. One would hope that, you can find some good punk movies. The fact of the matter is, they're kind of hard to come by. For a few different reasons. They're kind of hard to classify because, once again, punk is kind of the subculture of anti-authority, and in that also the countercultures. So it's got a lot of things that you could toss into it if we're talking about movies. Anything, honestly, from, say, Rocky Horror film to punk documentaries. Though, honestly, I don't put either or into what I would consider a proper punk movie. This does have a few lousy movies. Well, I say a few. There's actually quite a few lousy movies that I would put into the punk category. For instance, Liquid Sky, if you guys know that. That movie sucks. And, I mean, others that, say, document the punk scene kind of with a story, like Mondo, New York, also sucks. But there's some good ones. You can find some good ones. There's Rubbo Man. Rubbo Man's a pretty good one. It's actually Criterion. It's obviously not a very good movie when it comes down to it, because it's, well, let's put it this way. It starts with a kid who doesn't know what he does with his life, and it ends with him and this, trash man flying into outer space on a, glow-in-the-dark car. It's a very strange film. Tank Girl's pretty good. I don't think I really need to say more about that. Tank Girl's a fun movie. Anything done by Sogo Ishii. He's a Japanese director, really into the punk scene. Punk and roll, hardcore, a lot of stuff. He directed a lot of good films when it comes to the punk movies. I'd say he's probably one of the best punk directors. He did like the classic Burst City, if you know that one. And he also did a rather amusing one in more recent history of what was that one called? Oh, I forget, but I'll have it up on the screen for you. So, wrong way. The screen's that way. I don't know my own concrete background. The early films of the French director whose name I'm not even going to try and pronounce because he's French. And those French get so angry when you pronounce a language wrong on them. So I'm not going to even try. You Frenchies are weird. But he's a good director. Possibly my favorite movie by him was Subway. Subway's a very punk film. No punk music per se. A lot of music in it. But the styling and the character, very punk. It's a lot of fun. And I'd also put in Nikita. Nikita's a really good film. And don't talk to me about that remake thereafter. That sucked. So there's some things. It's not the extent that you can go to, but hey, it's a start. So have fun with those. Right, it's time for the pop quiz, class. First question that you're gonna need to ask. Am I cute? I wanna know. And you're gonna tell me. If you get it wrong, oh, it's not gonna be good. Okay, next question. What key was the Tally Ho song in? This should be fairly easy. It was abundantly apparent if you know the key coding. Color coding to the game. So go play the game, you'll find out. Okay, last question. This is very important. If you don't get this right, you fail the class. Are traps gay? I'll give you some time to think about it.